afternoon, and thank you for joining us. Today we're here in our corporate offices, and I have Roger Glover with us. Hi, Roger. Thanks for joining us.
You must be digging pretty low for marketing content and for
Every
quality
once in a
people
while,
to interview.
Every once in a while, we have to interview our interim principal.
All right. Well, I'm glad to be here.
Today we wanted to dive a little bit into Church Square and talk about our decision to be down there. So, Roger, thanks, and let's chat. So, Church Square is down in Smithfield, Hampton Roads area. You started your home building career down there. What excites you about being back down there again?
I did start there. That was a number of years ago. It doesn't excite me to think how long ago that was because it was 20 plus years ago. But yeah, we in York County, the Villas at Rainbrook was the first community, and then Villas on Shady Banks, and then we did Yorktown Villas, and then we proceeded to do a community in Poquoson, the Villas Poquoson. Jumped over and into Williamsburg, Five Forks, and then one of the last communities in Hampton Roads there for a while for us was the Villas at Smithfield.
Yeah, which is just around the corner from Church Square.
Just around the corner. The nice thing is you drive through it and just pleased to see no homes are for sale. People are moving around, things are going on, and 10 years of landscaping really looks good. Yeah,
it does. It looks fantastic. And actually, our sales manager at Smithfield, Janet Davis, who's been with us for years, this is her fourth Cornerstone home community she's lived in. She lives there now, and they do just look great.
And I would just say, it's that is true in terms of the 55 plus active adult communities that started years ago. The first ones were in Hampton Roads, so it'd be nice to rekindle a lot of the old relationships that developed over there, being there for 15, 20 years almost, well 15 years anyway, before we sort of slid out more in Richmond and Northern Virginia. But so it'd be neat to see some the realtors, mortgage brokers, lenders, engineers. A lot of it seems like there's several companies that we worked with before that were trade contractors that we'll be working with again, and also a few of the municipal, employees and planners that we've worked with in the past. So enjoy getting started in Smithfield, and as you know, we're going to be working on other communities now. So hopefully we'll have a multiple number of 55 plus communities going in Hampton Roads and even now down the south side.
Yeah, it's just an expanding area for sure, and lots of new development and construction, and they're getting a new hospital down there they just got approved for that'll be building soon. So it really is just a beautiful area. And
yeah, and it's a lot easier going east on 64 than north on 95.
No doubt, for sure. So you've purchased Church Square from another developer that was there for about 15 years. You've done that with a number of different communities. It seems obvious that going in and buying a distressed community might be difficult or thought as really daunting for some builder developers. What do you see in that excites you, and why do you feel like it's good for us?
Well, I don't know if excitement's the right word, but yeah, we can do that. It's marketing, right? It is exciting always to start a new community, but with regards to basically going in and sometimes resurrecting or certainly revitalizing a community that's sort of stalled or slowed. That's just something that I feel like we should have a knack for, because we've done nothing but exclusively built, designed communities and homes for the last 25 years now for the 55 plus buyer. So it's 20 communities now, over 2,200 homes. All of them are for the 55 plus buyer.
Right.
So I feel like we've got an idea of what it takes for a community to be successful. And when we were looking at the orchards in Roanoke and Magnolia Lakes, the Cove in Chesterfield County, unfortunately in both those situations, the bank had foreclosed on the property and taken it over. So that really was more like bringing back to life. Church Square is more like just revitalizing.
Right.
So I feel like, given the experience and already doing it a couple of times, understanding what it really takes, ingredients, if you will, for a 55 plus community to be viable and successful long term. I felt like Church Square had that, and I feel like we can identify that. It just wasn't quite put together as it should have been maybe.
Right.
And the timing might have been tough as well.
Yeah. And we've gone in there now and we've got, 8 homes under construction, which is great, with some summer deliveries for 12 homes, and just able to make an immediate impact where previously the developer was closing just a couple homes a year. So be really nice. And then in phase 2 there, with the rezoning and everything that's gone on, it's a little simpler process.
Well, it's in some regards it can be a simpler process. In other regards, it can be more complicated. If you, in terms of looking at a community that started and then has been delayed and stalled, in terms of sort of the key things to look at, is first and foremost, like every community, we want to make sure that if we start it, we've done our homework and we've done our due diligence and feasibility to determine if we are going to be able to achieve the marketing and the sales and the absorption rate that we need for it to be successful, and to have the project start and complete in a reasonable amount of time, both for the residents that are there, the people moving in, also for us in terms of just the proper way to be successful as a developer builder. So that's sort of that's a key thing going in, is just to make sure before you start that you even think it can be successful.
Right.
In a community where you've already got a core group of residents, that's always wonderful, especially like at Church Square, where you can tell they enjoy one another's company, they like coming together, and they would like more people to come in and join and complete the community. So that's and that step's really understanding that is a big part of it as well. I mean, it's important to meet, greet, talk, and get feedback and insight from the existing residents.
Right.
What's gone well? What's not gone well? Why do you think things slowed down? What are the issues that you may or may not that you know of that we should be aware of? So that's and the main thing is just making sure that they feel comfortable with you, and you feel like you can deliver. So that's sort of like the key step. After that, there's a laundry list, checklist, 100 items you've got to go through. But it starts with analyzing the existing zoning situation, code and ordinance compliance, where they may or may not be, where they may be out of compliance, making sure you can bring it back into compliance. Then we're looking at what infrastructure and site work is already in place.
Right.
Then the changes we want to make, are we going to be able to make them? An advantage is usually with an existing community, one advantage you would have is a lot of that's already in place. So you're not starting from scratch. So even though you may have as many different steps to go through, you can do it in 1/4 of the time.
Sure.
And even it's taken us longer than we wanted in Smithfield to date, we're about ready to start the second section in the site work and changes that we had to go through, sort of a mini zoning process, but a full site plan process. And that's completed now. It was quicker than you would have if you start from scratch again.
Sure.
And it enables us to provide a little more green space. The home designs are going to be similar, but they're at the same time they're going to be somewhat different. We're very big on more of a easy living fixed design, so we're going to have stepless sidewalks. We're going to have zero threshold. There's just some other things we're going to do, obviously inside the house, but also outside the house and the grounds. We're going to do a little bit different. All that had to be basically reapproved by Smithfield in the Isle of Wight.
Yeah, because
So
there
we've
is a
done
little
that.
bit of topo down there, so we had to make sure that the sidewalks didn't have any steps, and there were no steps coming in and out of the houses. And
then the other thing, and we know this, and you know it very well, is that whereas we're by definition a home builder, but we're really more of a community planner and designer for 55 plus and active adults. And a big part of that is creating the amenities and creating the opportunity for special experiences and people come together, spaces and places that are enjoyable and unique. And Church Square had that started. I mean,
Right.
that was the ingredient they had right. They had a clubhouse and a pool, and it was convenient, and it was set up to bring people together and have social events. It's just after 10 years,
Yeah.
it's not quite as attractive as it might have been the first day that it opened. So we wanted to make sure not only could we upgrade the clubhouse and finishes and furniture and all that, but there's a number of things around the clubhouse grounds in terms of adding sort of additional outdoor amenities,
Right.
and sort of recreational areas. So that's another thing we had to get approved through the county to start the process. So I could go in, and finally, the other probably key component when you're taking over an existing condominium or very structured homeowner association is making sure that the bylaws and rules are set up appropriately, and also financially that the HOA is in good standing before you start, or you can bring it in good standing quickly. That's the good thing about Church Square. It is in good standing. We're going to be able to we'll work with the homeowners that are there, but we're going to make some adjustments to make it more consistent with the other 20 communities that we've done, all
Right.
for 55 plus, some of which now are 20 years old and are operating very well. So those, it's fortunate. In some situations, it's a real legal obstacle to try to make those adjustments and work with people to get it done. All that's going to, I think, work out pretty easily at Church Square.
Yeah, and it's nice because with being able to close more homes more quickly than the previous developer, you're bringing in more funds to the HOA, at a regular pace, and allowing it to be more sustainable, more quickly and financially stable as a condo association.
Right, and energy just creates more energy, and it's hope. I think this time it'll be much more positive, and it just spreads not only throughout improving the HOA situation, but also just improving the fun and excitement and the activities of the community.
Sure. So I've had the opportunity to get down to Church Square a number of times and hadn't really been in the Smithfield area. I just think it's just the cutest little gem of a town, and really has all this quaint walkability, and it's so great. And Church Square is literally steps from historic Smithfield in that area. From a developer perspective, why do you think that Church Square is a great location?
Well, I agree with you with regards to Smithfield itself. I mean, it's a charming town. I grew up in a small town on the other side of the state in Abingdon, and it seems like there's a lot of similarities, even though one's way up in the mountains, the other's on the water. But just a charming small town with a number of nice stores and retail, and a number of really good restaurants. Then they have the historic sites. They have a number of town events, and all, like you said, all very charming. Right there, walkable or bikeable, and you have that. But at the same time, you're also very close to a number of larger metro attractions and services and facilities that you wouldn't otherwise have. But again, you're not dealing with the hustle and bustle and the traffic that you'd have in Norfolk or Newport News, or Virginia Beach. So it's really nice to be that convenient to, excellent, very convenient transportation modes. I mean, whether you want to go plane, boat, or rail, you're there.
Right there.
You've got quick access to 95 and then through 64, so you can be up north or down south pretty quickly, if you're traveling by car. And then in terms of medical facilities, there's outstanding medical facilities, some top in the country within 50, 60 miles.
Right.
And then a number that are right there in terms of all different medical facilities. And then wonderful shopping and retail centers that are, again, very close, 10, 15, 30 minutes away. Awesome entertainment and recreation venues. If you think about it, it can be on the beach in minutes, or, a couple hours you can be on top of Blue Ridge Mountains looking down the Shenandoah Valley.
Yeah, Virginia's a unique state from that perspective, and Smithfield just offers the convenience of all of that.
And then on top of that, when you look throughout the South, really throughout the United States, especially if you're looking at on the East Coast, you're not going to find much better quality of life. And you also are going to find it difficult to match the cost of housing and living. I mean, the cost of housing for us and living for us all is going up right now, but overall, relative to other areas, it's like I said, it's a great quality of life, and all things considered, a wonderful place to retire. And it is, on top of that, it really does have a very solid employment base. Plus, it's close to Richmond as well, even not that far from Northern Virginia. We all know that DC will make sure there'll still be jobs paid for years to come. But the nice thing about that is, as you know, in a number of our communities, we have grandparents following their grandkids.
Right,
And their
absolutely.
kids. And they want to be, they want to be close, but yet have their own space and place, right? So Smithfield would just be phenomenal for someone that has a child or their kids with grandkids that are getting established in this part of Virginia, and they can be close.
Yeah, I mean, there's the shipbuilding industry in Portsmouth and Norfolk and Virginia Beach that are so popular with younger families, and you're just minutes from them in Smithfield and have all these wonderful activities and things to do. So,
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. This has been great, really great insight into Church Square and being a developer there, and we appreciate your taking the time to be with us.
Absolutely. Us is me too, right?
Yes, us is Cornerstone.
Us is Cornerstone.
Crescent Group, yeah.